Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Words, Images, and Worlds. Always glad to be talking about fandom, performance, authoring. And on this episode, I'm delighted to be talking with author and performer Karen Whitfield. Karen, thank you for joining.
Hi, Jason. Thank you for having me. You're my first in 2025. That's great.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad to kick off the year with you and have you on. I know that folks out there will know you for a memoir that you've written about some of your experiences, and then they'll also know you for the character whose shirt you're currently wearing as well. You had the chance to embody the character of Batgirl along with someone named Adam West, and Burt Ward. So curious to hear, of course, about some of those experiences and a little bit about the book and some of your journey here.
Okay, great. Let's go. Let's start.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess I should ask first, what was that initial connection to comics, to fandom? What was your initial invitation to that world like?
Well, the first initial invitation was when I was 9 years old. I'm going to age myself a bit, but it was in 1966 when the Batman show came on, the 66 Batman series. Of course, I'm not Yvonne Craig. She was the Batgirl that was introduced in September of 67, a year after they started. But yeah, 66, I was 9 years old, and it was the first time that we really had live action superheroes on television, and it was absolutely wonderful. As a child, we had just gotten the color TV, and it was just really fun and exciting, and just having the superheroes heroes on TV. And then a year later, Yvonne was introduced to the series as Batgirl, and I fell in love with her. She was first superhero girl that we have ever been, that I remember being introduced to. And I just thought she was wonderful. And I felt braver and bigger and taller. And every day coming home from school, we couldn't wait to get there, or I couldn't wait to get there and turn on the TV and watch it. It was a lot of fun. But that was, I remember my first experience with it. And then, of course, we started getting some comics in after that because, we realized, another world out there that we weren't used to.
I love that, yeah, and love how characters make a mark in that way. What was it then like later on to get to be part of the Bat universe?
Yeah. It's funny, how destiny is. I guess I put it out there, in the world and made a wish and didn't know that I was going to be the one to wear the second mantle of the bat. And so 10 years later in 1977, I met Burt Ward in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm from Durham, North Carolina, and I'm sitting in Raleigh now. And,
Hmm.
years later, I was working at Hertz Rental Car Agency at the Raleigh Durham Airport, and he came in, and I met him, and we became pretty fast friends. And 3 months later, I was had moved, and from North Carolina to California, and I started traveling with him in January as Robin, and then I met Adam West in March. This is 1978, and in January, I traveled with him as Robin, and then I met Adam West in March and saw him as Batman. And then in June that year, I started suiting up as Batgirl, and I never would have thought in my wildest dreams that I would have worn the second mantle of the Bat. I guess I put it out as a little girl. I don't know how that all works, but I was at the right place at the right time. It might have been my destiny, but I'm very proud of wearing this. She and Yvonne will always be my mentor and always be my queen, my Bat Queen. And to watch her as a little girl, I knew how the little girls felt when they met me, when we would have the personal appearances, going to the car shows and things that we did. And I wanted them to feel meeting me as I felt with Yvonne, watching her as a little girl.
For people that weren't part of the original wave, and of course I was around in the '80s for Batmania. Then, what was it like to be part of that experience of Batmania with the show and all of the fandom that surrounded it?
I can't even it's like, are there any words to describe it? The only
Right.
thing I can say is it was just amazing because when I was traveling with them, it was just 10 years after the show. They were out promoting, still the reruns and things like that and meeting the Batman fans. But what we were actually doing was promoting the 1977 animated series that was on television, which was Adam and Burt's voices, and it was where they introduced Batmite. They had Batgirl on there and Catwoman. Of course, I had not met Burt yet at that moment, so I wasn't the one that voiced Batgirl there. That was Melinda Britt, which is She-Ra in She-Ra, the Princess of Power. That's Melinda Britt, and she also voiced Catwoman. And so when I met them in 77, when we were out traveling, we were promoting that as well. There were so many people that would ask them where Batgirl was, this and that. And Yvonne wasn't traveling with them at that time. She was in her mid 40s and she just wasn't sitting up and traveling with them. So they were looking for a Batgirl that would travel. And Melindy at the time had young children. And I finally met her in San Francisco this past year at Fan Expo. And that was just one of my highlights of traveling myself, as meeting other celebrities, was to meet her because I was out promoting that when she was the voice. So it was really cool. But anyway, going back to your question, it was, we had lines. We didn't have Comic Cons back then. We were in car shows and opening of malls and stores and things like that. And we had many long lines. It was just amazing. We would travel and be in restaurants, and people may recognize us knowing that we were in the city. And then, if not, then they definitely recognize their voices. And, it was just really surreal to be part of that. And I'll always, will honor being there with them and loving that part of my life. And I would not be who I am today if I had not done that because I was only 20 years old. Burt was 32 and Adam was 49. And just to be with them and learn what I've learned, and was from a small town in North Carolina, never been away from home. It was pretty surreal and an amazing experience and journey.
Mhm. I know there's also a book, so anything that you would like to say about putting together the book and getting to reflect there?
Batdriven West. Batdriven.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, when I left after 7 years of traveling with them and moved back home to North Carolina from California, I never thought I would actually be in this again. I thought that I would hang up my cape, and it was one of those things in my life that I did, and never thought I'd come back around to it. But through the years, I had children, and that's one reason why I came home. I wanted to have children and raise them and not leave them, and go on the road like I am now, or take them with me and worry while I'm sitting at my booth. So I decided to hang up my cape and become a mom. And that's one of the most rewarding jobs a woman can be if she chooses to be a mother. Well, so years later, when Yvonne passed away in 2015, it really touched my heart and broke it. I mean, I felt it just, I couldn't, I believe it. I mean, I know that we do, one day, but it's just when that happens, when you're, you're, superheroes in your heart, when things like that happen, you just, it touches your life. So I did get back in touch with a Bat family. Well, actually, Bert's sister. I got on Facebook. That's how I heard about Yvonne. When I heard about Yvonne, I got on Facebook and saw what was going on, and then his sister found me on Facebook, and then his daughter found me through his sister Gigi's Facebook. So I went out to see them in 2016, like four times that year, and then in 17 as well. But in the end of 16, when I was traveling back home in October, I thought to myself, maybe I should write this story about this. And my daughter had, through the years, she'd mentioned that too, because she said, there's not a lot of pictures or stories out there. And I feel like the Bat family, the fans would want to know the story that you have and that you're still here and you can tell them about it and remind people who they are. And I really feel that you should do this. Well, with that little voice inside my soul, I finally listened to it on the way home in October 2016. So I started deciding in January of 2017, started putting the thoughts together and started writing it. Then I realized, because I left so long, that I did not realize for some reason that that was the 50th anniversary of Batgirl, was January of 2017. So it was impeccable timing of it all. So I decided to write it. It took me 2.5 years to do that because I put it down 3 or 4 different times. One of those times was when Adam died on June 9th, 2017. That really, it was just it's just really a sad time. So I put it down for a bit, and then I decided to pick back up because I don't start something and don't finish it. I had to finish it. So I did the end of 2019. But the things that was going on during it, it was just amazing, the timing of it all. So I really feel like that was the time. And that's maybe why I did in all those years and why I did then, because um, DC Comics started writing the omnibus, the first omnibus of the Bronze Age Batgirl, which I'm the Bronze Age Batgirl in that time of era of comics. And they started writing omnibus number 1 in 2017. And then in 2019, they wrote the second one. And you can buy those on Amazon. And I finished mine in November 2019. And at the same time, the Batgirl movie was being written. And then they started filming. They started filming it. Of course, it's not out there to watch, but that was all going on the same time. So it was just, I feel like it was just meant to be.
Yeah. Love when the universe comes together and you're talking about destiny earlier and you get to realize those dreams and
Yeah.
there seem to be those echoes around the world as well.
Yeah, that's what happens. I feel like if you're open to it and you hear the little voices, or your inner being, or if you have faith and fate. I mean, all that. I feel like it comes together when you allow it to.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Now, if I'm a listener out there and I want to connect, if I want to read the book, if I want to meet you at a convention, any particular spaces that you would recommend for people to go?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Live Like Batgirl, or I have Facebook too, Karen Whitfield Batgirl. You can follow me there, and I always post where I'm going to be, and also you can buy a book from me, and I'll sign it and mail it to you. Or I have a lot of posters and pictures and Funko Pops and things like that that I also will sell and sign before I mail them. Or you can buy them from me at a Comic Con and Amazon. You can buy my book on Amazon as well. It just won't be signed, but if you do buy it on Amazon, if you see me at a Comic Con, please bring it to me and I'll sign it free of charge.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Everybody, just be true to yourself, and if you have a passion of writing a song or writing a book, or doing something that you feel in your heart that you should do, don't hold back. Do it. There's some people out there that may want to hear what you have to say, and just and be true to yourself. I know it's not an easy time we're going through, but don't let anybody take who you are away, and just be strong. And if you do have some people that you meet, and instead of judging, just know that there could be villains in their hearts, and just be kind. It's easy to be kind.
I love that. Well, Karen, many, many thanks, and I'm sure I will cross your path again at a Comic-Con somewhere down the line.
I
And
hope so.
glad to have you back here anytime.
I hope so. And everybody come and see me. I want to meet you all.